Welcome to the Big Red Wolf Report here on Arizona Sports 98.7 FM and ArizonaSports.com. I'm Ron Wolfley, and here on the Big Red Wolf Report, we examine the game that will be by pulling it through the game that was. The Cardinals are 9-1. They have a 3-game lead in the NFC West. They are the number 1 seed in the NFC with a 7-0 record in the conference. Now they prepare to return to the scene of the crime, the Paragon game of the Bruce Arians era, Seattle, Washington, December 2013. That game will impact this game, which brings us to Big Red point number 1. Run the ball at Seattle. 22-23 double is a running play that attacks the line of scrimmage in a perpendicular kind of way. 22-23 double from one back or two back might be the only play the Cardinals need run. This was the play of choice on a cold, drizzly December day in Week 16 of the 2013 season. The Cardinals ran the ball 43 times against the Seahawks, and 21 of those times, Andre Ellington, Rashard Mendenhall, and Stephon Taylor ran 22-23 double, or, as it's known within coaching circles, the power without the pull. The power without the pull. This is the blender of all running plays. The Cards' offensive line needs to put Bennett, Averill, Tony McDaniel, Kevin Williams, and the rest of Seattle's front in a metaphorical blender and hit whip. The Cardinals could not run the ball last week and haven't been consistent all season. If they can't put Drew Stanton in a three-dimensional offense, their odds of winning this game in Seattle by throwing it against the Seahawks secondary is slim to none. The Cards need to run the ball better, and last week's disappointment cannot be explained away because they were playing a very good front in the Detroit Lions. Sunday's game could be reduced to this: no run, no fun. Big Red point number 2. No picks, Drew Stanton. No picks. No picks. Last week, Drew Stanton threw 2 bad picks against the Lions. Although these are typically not conducive to winning games and resulted in taking points off the board for Arizona, while giving the Lions 3 points, it did show that the Cards can still win games even if Stanton isn't perfect. This is another important mental hurdle Stanton must cross in his quest to lead the Cards into the playoffs. And so far, so good. But a repeat performance in Seattle could be Big Red's undoing. Throwing multiple picks to Seattle's secondary on the road at CenturyLink Field against the defending Super Bowl champions is a recipe for disaster and defeat. Stanton has got to protect the ball better than he did. The Seahawks are not producing the kind of interception totals they did a year ago, but Richard Sherman, Byron Maxwell, Earl Thomas, and Cam Chancellor have not played together a ton this season, but that will not be the case on Sunday. Big Red point number 3. Don't let Russell Wilson beat you on the perimeter. The Cardinals got to Matthew Stafford 4 times last week and knocked him down 9 times. Although they need to replicate this kind of pressure many times by rushing only 4, they can't get out of their rush lanes against Wilson, especially on the edges. Todd Bowles and company did an excellent job last season of mitigating the damage Wilson did outside the pocket in their Week 16 stunner. Wilson escaped the pocket twice for 32 yards, but only once did it really hurt the Cardinals. They need to contain the edges and force Wilson to throw the ball from within the pocket. Last week, Matthew Stafford had a difficult time finding open receivers, and so did Wilson last year. He was 11 of 27 for 108 yards with a touchdown and a pick on that cold December day. If Wilson can't scramble and make plays outside the pocket, he's going to have to throw the ball at Patrick Peterson or Antonio Cromartie. This is not a good matchup for Doug Baldwin and Jermaine Kearse. Seattle is a good team, and playing them at home is going to be a difficult proposition for Arizona. But a plausible scenario for a Cards victory in Seattle is starting to develop. Well, certainly more plausible than it was a year ago. For Arizona Sports 98.7 FM and ArizonaSports.com, I'm Ron Wolfley. We'll see you next week.